What is going on, YouTube? I'm Chalktopus, and we're bringing you today a new discussion-based video based on the upcoming Dragon Ball FighterZ coming out for PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, and it can come to the Switch. Now, the producers, or maybe it's the developers, said themselves that there's a possibility that the game could come to the Switch. It has nothing to do with the power of the Switch. The Switch can handle the game. However, it's just a matter of demand. So I'll leave that article in the description below, and also if you want the game to come to the Switch, follow me on Twitter and you can tweet at me, and I've been tweeting at the developers and Bandai Namco, and let's get this game on the Switch, and we can't do it without your help. But let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this. So recently they announced that future Trunks is going to be in the game. Surprise, surprise, like no one knew that was coming. But, the roster is a big question mark right now because we don't know who's going to be in the game. We don't know how many fighters are going to be in the game. So today we're going to just, we're going to tone it down for a second, and we're going to talk about some of the characters that I personally would like to see in the game. And, if you want to see any specific characters in the game, make sure you let me know throughout the video in the comments below, and we will we'll talk about it. But these are my top 10 characters that I want to see in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now, aside from all the major characters that we see in every Dragon Ball fighting game, Goku, Vegeta, all the Z fighters, there's certain characters that I want to see in the game that I know really don't have a shot, and some that I know that we probably will see in the game, but there's some deep cuts in this list. For real Dragon Ball fans that know most of the characters, and some characters that stem all the way back to Dragon Ball, these are some characters that I want to see. So getting right into it, number 10, and these are in no specific order of importance. They're just a list that I made, throughout the day as I was thinking about the game and characters that I would like to see. Now, a lot of them are some obscure characters that most likely don't have a chance, but they're ones that I really hope make the cut. Or we get some kind of variation, maybe some kind of costume change. But number 10 is the champ himself. That's right, I want to see Mr. Satan in the game, and I have a feeling that there's a good chance we're going to get Mr. Satan in the game, because he is the one character that, he's a human that doesn't have the ability to either fly or shoot, ki blasts. He kind of relies on a jetpack, as we've seen in previous games. So I think it'll be a good addition to the game, and they could really balance it out. But I would like to see Mr. Satan in the game. Also, I think he could have some cool attacks, with B or Bay, if you're referring to the anime or the manga. And no, I'm not talking about Beyonce. I'm talking about his dog. I think I think it was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Where Mega Man could send out Rush, from side screen and just kind of maybe it was Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I'm not sure, but if you know, let me know in the comments below. But I would like to see something like that for Mr. Satan. So that's number 10. Number 9, and remember these are in no specific order once again, Whis. And I have a feeling there's a good chance Whis is going to make it into the game. They are, it looks like, working in the Dragon Ball Super continuity because Golden Frieza is in the game, so I have a feeling we might get either Beerus or Whis, maybe both, because they seem to be main story characters by now. So I'd be very surprised if we didn't get Whis in the game. Personally, I like Whis as a character. He's very strong, and he's very calm. Compared to the insanity that's going on, Whis really never loses his cool, and that's why I like him. And I'm hoping that Whis makes it into the game. And yeah, that's it for number 9. Number 8, and this one, I'm pretty sure that fans wanted in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Didn't make it, but his costume did. I want Pikkon in the game, or Pekan, or however you want to pronounce his name. I want Pikkon in the game. I like Pikkon as a character. I think he'd be a really cool addition. I don't really have much to say about him because he's not really in the anime for too long. And, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about Pikkon, but I like Pikkon as a character. I think he's badass, and I want him to come to I want him to come to Dragon Ball FighterZ, but I think he's one of the characters that has a very slim chance. He's not a major fighter, but you never know. With all of the fan service that Arc System Works is bringing, to the game, with all these poses and references to the anime, I wouldn't put it past them. So there's always a chance. Pikkon, I'm rooting for you. Number 7, and I think this one's gonna come in the form, if it does, of a costume change. I want Great Saiyaman in the game. I think Great Saiyaman would be fun with all his superhero poses, you know, and running around, and I think he would be a fun addition, you know, but if it does happen, I just kind of see it in the form of an alternate costume for adult Gohan, Teen Gohan, or whatever Gohan you want in the game. But you never know. It would be cool if he was a separate character with his own moveset, but it's, you know, it's in the line of PyCon. I don't think it's going to happen because it's not a major character, while Gohan is a major character. You know, Great Saiyaman is just kind of like, it's a spin-off, it's filler, and I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be fun. So Arc System Works, if you're watching this game, watching this video, take notes. Number 6. This one is a super deep cut, and it most likely has 0% chance of making it into the game, unless it comes in the form of an assist character, which would also be cool. And as you can see, you know, we might get lesser characters as assist characters, because in some gameplay video, when Frieza's fighting, Sorbet comes in and shoots a little laser beam, and Sorbet is not a major character. He's only in the Resurrection F movie and Arc, so there's always a chance. Now, I want to see Pilaf in his giant robot. That's right, kind of like playing like Tronbon in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I think that'd be really cool. But like I said, probably a 0% chance to get it as a fighter, but you never know, so I'm hoping for it. Number 5, and this one's not super exciting because he's one of the Z fighters and he has a very, very high chance of making it into the game. I want Tenshinhan, or Tien, or whatever you want to call him, in the game because he's my favorite Z fighter out of all of them. Next to Krillin, I like Krillin too. But Krillin's also another one that has a great chance of making it into the game because they are characters that have been around from Dragon Ball all the way through Z and in Super, and now they're in the Universal Survival arc, so I think there's a good chance Tien's going to make it into the game. And I've always liked him since the one scene where he's holding off Cell with his Tri-Beam over and over, and I think he's a badass character, and I would like to see him in Fighterz. Number 4, Kid Goku from Dragon Ball. Also, I think they can have a GT skin. That'd be pretty cool, but I want him to have a different moveset than, obviously, adult Goku. I think, you know, Nimbus and Power Pole would be a good moveset for Kid Goku. I think it could really mix things up and, you know, make for a completely different character than, you know, some of the other ones that are going to be in the game. So that's if they're looking to really change things up. I don't know if Kid Goku has a chance, but we really don't know much about the roster yet, so I'm going to hope that Kid Goku makes the cut. Number 3, and I'm sure this one's going to be a very popular pick, especially with Dragon Ball Super, you know, so relevant now, and all the characters, you know, just becoming prominent in the anime and the manga. I would really like to see Hit in the game. I think Hit has a good chance, because like I said, Golden Frieza is in the game, so there is that Dragon Ball Super continuity. However, they haven't announced any other Dragon Ball Super characters yet, but, you know, there's likelihood, and I think Hit is one of the fan favorites, you know, from Super thus far, so I think he has a good chance of making it into the game, so hoping for Hit. Number 2 is a really deep cut, and most people will probably disagree with me here, but I think it would be a fun addition to the game in some shape or form, whether as a playable character or an assist character. This one is a really deep cut because we haven't seen him since Dragon Ball, but he might have made an appearance as a cameo in Z or Super. I don't really remember, but Android 8, or known as Aider in the English dub. I don't know if they call him that in the Japanese dub, but he's the android, Frankenstein-looking android. I think he could have a really unique moveset as a heavy, and like I said, I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me here, but I think it'd be fun to add into the game, and I think if Arc System Works is really looking to do some fan service, and now I saw some people mention that they did want Arale in the game, but personally, I'd prefer Android 8 over Arale. Now, Arale is strong and could also be a fun addition, but I think these two characters, if they do make it, they might come in as assist characters because they're, you know, not really main story characters. They have, you know, only a short existence in Dragon Ball, and if they do come back in Z, I know Arale came back in Super briefly, but they'd be cool. So Arc System Works, Arale or Android 8, but preferably Android 8. Number 1 and the last character on my list, and this character, he was a new featured character in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 when they were hyping it up, is Lord Slug. I think we need more than one Namekian in the game, and I think Nail would have too similar of a moveset to Piccolo, so I think Lord Slug could play kind of like a heavy and, have a completely different moveset. Although, they do have stretching abilities, I do think that, Lord Slug could be completely different than Piccolo, and I think he'd be a pretty cool addition. I think he's a badass Namekian. I would like to see him in the game, so just to wrap this up completely, the 10 characters I do want to see in the game, and don't get me wrong, there are tons of other characters I want to see, but the likelihood of us getting a lot of fighters is very low, because they need to keep the game balanced, and having a lot of fighters makes it really hard to do that. But I do think in some shape or form we might see them as assist characters, so you never really know, and it seems like the game is so far one big fan service, so don't put it past Arc System Works. Nothing is confirmed yet, so we don't know how many fighters are coming. We don't know which fighters are coming, but there's always hope. And just to wrap it up, we have Mr. Satan, we have Whis, Pikkon, Great Saiyaman, you have Pilaf in his robot, you have Tenshinhan, Kid Goku, preferably with also a GT skin, you have Hit, Android 8, and Lord Slug. Those are my top 10 that I would like to see in the game. Like I said, not all the characters I'd like to see, so don't get mad at me. But let me know if there are specific characters you want to see in the game. Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up on my video so it lets me know you like it, because we have a lot more Dragon Ball FighterZ content coming, especially as more news comes out and they announce more fighters. So you can look forward to that. Also, when the game drops, we're going to be playing the hell out of it. So if you're new here, kindly consider subscribing to my channel, and you can find me in social media and in my Discord channel. I'll leave those in the description below. But until next time, see you later. Peace.